Get out of that corner. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm alive though. Oh god, we're going this way. What? 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 Oh, why? Why would you, why? What is the point? What? Get out of there. Get out of there. Ah! Oh my god. Why? No! Go. Get out of there. Run! Run away! Run! 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 Get me anything! Run! Run away! Oh my god! No! 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 Just keep running! Just keep running! No! Look, it's stuck! Just keep running! Just keep running! Just keep... No! 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 Absolutely not! No! 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 Okay. Get me out of there! Oh no! 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 I don't want this! No! You gotta be kidding me! 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 No! 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 Ah! Get me out of there! Oh! It's over! It's over! Testing the recording. I'm sure I sound amazing right now. It certainly has been a No, I ruined it. It's alright, we're starting over. It certainly has been quite a journey getting to this point in the series. Time and time again, I would be faced with an obstacle to overcome, with varying, oftentimes difficult degrees of comprehension and understanding required. I mean, where have you heard this before? I started off not knowing anything about a career, but eventually, through as many as several revelations, adapt to the playstyle and learn to appreciate what separates them from the other versions of themselves. For example, the Witch Hunter Captain is an incredibly well-rounded team damage booster with a stunningly powerful ability which uses crits to insta-slay 85% of the game's roster with almost no effort. You have the Bounty Hunter, whom utilizes his range to solve the vast majority of his problems, be it hordes or otherwise. And he can crush the toughest of foes with Locked and Loaded. Then there's the Zealot, with a more self-serving set of offensive ability and a display of tankiness and enduring the likes of which you won't see anywhere else. In terms of checking all the boxes, similar to the Master Dwarf, you won't find a more well-rounded set of careers that can cover any situation the game throws at you. But obviously, I've only covered 3 out of the 4 identities of our one-eyed personification of Screwpulsity. And as I said, you can bet on it being just as unique and impactful as the other careers at Victor Saltzpyre's disposal. Ladies and gentlemen, the Warrior Priest. Warrior Priest has a lineup of abilities that one could argue is some of the most perplexing, wordy, situational, and dare I say, frustratingly executed you will ever see in Vermintide 2. Along with that, he has class-specific weapons and is restricted from using any of his regular ones. But unlike every other Saltzpyre career, the Warrior Priest can use a shield. Starting off with the legend or lower difficulty thematic ability of Curse Resistance, great for like 90% of players, useless for me because I only play Cataclysm and literally nobody picks up Grims or Tomes, unless you're a Grail Knight. After that, you have an extra 30% damage versus 2 specific enemies. Great, next time I play Into the Nest, I'll be sure to keep that in mind. And then you have the most confusingly worded bullshit you will ever read. Luckily, since you clicked on this video, I have gone through the trouble of translating it for you. First of all, you take 40% less damage, not 20. What that second sentence is trying to tell you is that if you do absolutely nothing after getting hit, that 40% gets cut down to 20. The 3 seconds it takes to go from 40% to 20% lets you collect temporary health to try and out-heal the additional 20% damage coming in. In other words, you can have at best 40% damage reduction and at worst 20. Moving on to his passive, after killing enough enemies, his attacks will sting whatever he hits after a short delay and deal 20% of the attack's damage. But make no mistake, filling Fury to max is not easy, and oftentimes, once you finally have Fury, all of the stuff you intended to use it on is already dead, leaving you to just sit there and politely watch as all of your accumulated effort goes to waste as if it was never there to begin with. But whenever that's not the case, sure, it's the fucking bomb, I guess. And lastly, 5 seconds of diplomatic immunity, followed by an inspirational fiery shockwave explosion as the coup de grace cherry on top of a masterful ability. On top of that, you can set it up so the immunity lasts longer, it can affect twice as many people, or my personal favorite, can also revive allies. And it can reverse all damage suffered in the last 3 seconds. That's basically a free healing item every time you ult, while retaining the original identity of the ult. I mean, seriously, you can use your ult to heal in complete peace, spearhead an assault you could never have handled otherwise, revive people, heal people, rescue people. Like, seriously, it's amazing. And remember Fury? Well, you can actually use your Fury to repair an impressive amount of your allies' health bars just by killing shit, which, yes, can also be another healing item you don't have to use. At this point, it shouldn't be difficult to understand. The Warrior Priest is like a Grail Knight, but more built towards team defense, with both of his weapon slots being melee. As per usual, from here, we seek the talent pool to further increase the diversity.
The Warrior Priest has two main ways to recover HP, melee hits and staggers. As is customary, I'd suggest you go with staggers, which I would argue is the best all-around health recovery talent in the game. When it comes to damage, outside of Fury and Enemy of Chaos, the Warrior Priest doesn't have many ways to raise his damage output, and that is where the second talent set comes into play. All three of these talents can be really good, but most of the time aren't as impactful as you might think. I, for one, lean towards Unstoppable Force, which helps you maintain stamina better, or Rising Judgment, since it's not very situational compared to Sigmar's Executioner, and as far as managing hordes goes, I wouldn't say that I struggle with it enough to warrant having the cost of pushing over some extra damage, so I tend to roll with Judgment. Talent set number 3, you would be wise to go Smiter, which is the best balance of damage and bonus damage. Enhanced Power is always good since it increases your damage as well as your staggers and cleave, and is also one of the fundamental building blocks to... Actually, I don't think it has a name. I guess we can call it the Plague Breaker? Yeah, sure, why not? It is also one of the fundamental building blocks to the Plague Breaker, which, long story short, is the amount of power required to stagger the most stubborn man-sized enemy in the game, aka the Plague Monk, requiring at least more than 70% power. Most easily done with an Opportunist Shield and the occasional power property on your melee weapon or charm. A little food for thought also, but realistically, you don't have to have a build that can stagger Plague Monks. Opportunist alone can handle everything else, but I will say that it is pretty important to be able to get them off balance. That's all I'll say. And besides, there's actually a criminally underrated talent I'm about to get into that renders enhanced power completely worthless. But before that, we have the aforementioned fourth talent set that enhances your Fury. All of them are good, but I run from Fury Fortitude with almost zero hesitation. Then we have the fifth talent set, which gives you 35% increased crit chance, which pairs very well with Sigmar's Executioner, but still way too situational, and increased 15% party health, giving your Warrior Priest a 200 plus health pool, or 25% increased stagger power. Criminally underrated. So many builds have to go out of their way to increase power on their talents or properties in order to reach the Plague Breaker, or you could just have a Warrior Priest with Prayer of Might and just use an Opportunist Shield. It's way easier. Plus, that power goes to Skaven and Chaos, not just Skaven, so your staggers are overall more effective. This also means that all of the properties and talents that would have gone towards the Plague Breaker, like Enhanced Power and 2 full properties on your melee and charm, can now be switched out for other items like Smiter and a little extra something for your gear. All this isn't to say that hardiness isn't better, but might can hold its weight too. Wrapping things up with the melee weapons, I tried to appreciate the Great Hammer, which I do by the way, but at the end of the day, it doesn't recover temporary health that well, it's slow, and the attack patterns are just not it for me. In the end, what worked best for me was one melee weapon for offense and one for defense. The Skull Splitters were the perfect choice for dishing out damage, and the Flail and Shield was a great choice for tanking and pushing. Funny enough, I actually ran double Flail and Shield in some of my runs, which is perfectly viable for how surprisingly powerful the Flail and Shield is. Moving on to jewelry, the necklace is interesting, and especially when it comes to Barkskin. First of all, it's important to note that Barkskin doesn't affect the tick damage from Implacable. With Barkskin activated, you can preserve around 60% of the initial damage taken, but since you take less damage while Barkskin is active, Implacable will account for the increased initial damage reduction nevertheless. Altogether, Barkskin is like a stacked Implacable, so altogether after getting hit with Barkskin active is at best 60% damage reduction and 40% at worst. Good lord, that took a lot of time. And now that I got some good Chinese and Japanese food in me, I can finally finish the script of this video. Boon of Shalia is arguably the best alternative to Barkskin for extra health maintenance, and everything else pretty much falls into their respectable positions. He's definitely more melee based, so I like to max crit chance. You can never go wrong with Swift Slay, and my shield has Opportunist. Couple of things I didn't have the time for in the video, but for starters, if you see your Warrior Priest with Fury going against a high health enemy, by all means help him out, but let him secure the kill. If the warrior priest manages to fury kill a chaos warrior, he can restore 12 green health points to all 4 of his allies, equivalating to 48 total health points from a single kill. Even storm vermin and specials grant some pretty impressive gains. Secondly, if you ever take a huge hit as warrior priest but don't have your ult ready, it is an option to just let your guard down and take a few more hits so you can get your ult back in time. After the huge hit, you have 3 seconds to figure out how you want to proceed. Use them wisely. And third, team compositions. The warrior priest is good with support and crowds, but doesn't have big boy damage or range, so I would focus on those areas to make up for his shortcomings, like adding a Grail Knight, Waystalker, Shade, Pyromancer, etc. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not only the conclusion for Victor Saltzpyre's 4th career in Vermintide 2, but tragically, an end to Victor Saltzpyre as well. First it was Barden, and then it was him. It really was a blast learning how to play all 4 of these careers, and I definitely feel as though I have evolved as a player by taking the time to explore and understand each career in the game. If I'm not wrong, we have 4 careers left before it's all over. A multi-year project is now in the last stretch. All 20 careers are out and available to play, and I actually already have 2 careers ready to go as we speak. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it, baby! Let's go! Later, people! Crit chance. Crit chance. Based on melee hits. Based on melee hits. Based on melee hits.